Hey guys, it's Ashley. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me see if I can move that out of the way for you guys. There we go. So, I am coming to you from one of my favorite places in the world, and that's Costa Rica. You can't really see it, but right here is a volcano. I'll be posting pictures from one of my past visits soon, and I just wanted to come to you guys live today to answer any questions that you might have. Somebody's wheeling something here on the side. The cleaning lady. Give her a second. Buenos dias. So I wanted to come to you guys live to ask any questions that you might have about the destinations. We've been spending an amazing week here with some really fabulous travel business owners, and we have been exploring Costa Rica as a destination, and I wanted to share some of the questions that they've been asking during the week, some questions that I know you guys have been asking through social media this week. But if you are tuning in live and you want to ask any questions, please feel free to do so. So I want to start out with just kind of giving you a highlight of what we've been doing this week. We are not quite all the way through our trip. We started in Costa Rica last weekend and began in San Jose. And then we headed out to Tortuguero, which is hands down one of my favorite places in Costa Rica. Tortuguero is very remote. You have to get there by an hour boat ride. It is where you're going to see monkeys and sloths and birds and just all kinds of amazing animals. And you will see about 50 to 60% of the animals throughout the country from Tortuguero. You spend 2 nights in a very rustic accommodation, and it makes you appreciate the animals and the setting where you are so much more. From Tortuguero, then we head out to Sarapiqui, which is the rainforest, and this is really where the ecotourism heart of Costa Rica comes into effect. So with Costa Rica, hang on there a second. See, live, you can't predict these things, right? With Costa Rica, many of you know it's a very natural destination. So people who are thinking about Costa Rica as a place to visit do it one of 2 ways. They are either here for the beach, and they usually don't leave the beach setting. So whether it's an all-inclusive or it's a day on a cruise or they're renting a house and coming here, they're typically staying in one place and just doing the beach side. The West Coast, the Pacific Coast, is where most of that beach action happens. But for the other people that are looking for more adventure, more culture, the guided experience that we have with Trafalgar, the Costa Rica Eco Adventure, is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And the reason I say that is because we get into Sarapiqui, and that's really the heart of the ecotourism birthplace, if you will. It is a rainforest, and we stay in some really fantastic places like La Quinta, which is a self-sustaining farm that was started by a couple. Doña Beatriz and her husband bought this land surrounded by pineapple plantations so that they could help revitalize the land and put it back to its natural state. So they planted trees, and they have really beckoned back the natural animals. We saw caiman, we saw howler monkeys, we had birds. There were the red-eyed tree frog, the really famous frog of Costa Rica. So they've really created a place that's a habitat for animals to come back and live again, which is amazing. Everything that they serve there, they grow on their farm that their son owns, which is right next door. They talk to us about the sustainability practices of having soap dispensers instead of the little shampoo bottles, and how they try to reuse everything on the property so that they have that sustainable impact. And that's just one place within Sarapiqui. We also had the amazing Be My Guest experience yesterday with the Quintana family at their farm. Also very sustainable. So they grow everything that they use on the property. We actually went back to Senor Quintana's house, and we got to sit down to a meal that was prepared and served by his family. And it was just a wonderful afternoon seeing how they're growing vanilla, and they're growing citrus, and they're growing pineapples and all of these things. We tried guava right out of the seed pod, which was phenomenal as well. So if you have that sustainability interest from your clients, that's why Costa Rica is so famous. It's also about the nature. So people who want to see animals, they want to get out and they want to hike, they want to do soft adventure, they want to go whitewater rafting. Costa Rica is perfect for that. And that is all here in Arenal. So again, Can't see it, but there is a volcano back there. And Arenal is really fantastic because you have the zip lining, you have horseback riding, you have hot springs here at this beautiful property we're at, Arenal Paraíso, and of course you have the volcano, which on a beautiful day you'd be able to see. So there's a lot of adventure in this area. From here we're going on to Monteverde, and we're going to be up in the mountains, and it's going to be about 60 degrees, which is fantastic because it's been really hot here lately. May is really the beginning of the low season, so if you're looking for a peak time to travel, it's going to be, I'd say, January through April, with April being your peak month. So just wanted to give you a couple of background stories of our experience so far, and I wanted to answer a couple of questions as well. So one of the things that I've been asked a lot this week is how many programs do we have going to Costa Rica, and the answer is 2 with Trafalgar and 1 with Cost Saver. The 2 with Trafalgar, you have your Costa Rica Eco Adventure, and then you also have our family vacation, Monkeys, Jungles, and Volcanoes. So the itineraries are slightly different because they're designed for different types of clientele. And then we have one itinerary with Cost Saver, which is similar to the family itinerary as well. Thanks, Jay, for letting me know it's pixelated. The story of my life this week is Wi-Fi connection has been not great, which is fantastic for cutting the cord. If you need to get away and you really want to disconnect, there is no better place than Costa Rica because the Wi-Fi is spotty at best. So hopefully this is recording in a smooth format. If not, I will post a better recording for you guys a little bit later. So got questions about the group types or the itineraries. I've also gotten questions about groups. So our groups program is really fantastic. You can have, let's say, 10 people on Costa Rica Eco Adventure, but let's say you have 15 that want to do a similar itinerary, but maybe stay 3 nights in Arenal or 2 nights in Arenal and a couple nights in Tortuguero and a couple nights in Monteverde. We can actually do a custom itinerary with 15 or more people, and we can build anything that you want here. So if you want to make it even more eco-friendly, we can do that. If you want to make it more family-friendly, maybe pull out a little bit of the eco-tourism, we can do that too. So there's a lot of options when it comes to groups. We are updating our group policy so that you can earn TCs in a little bit of a different way, so check back soon with your local DSM for information on that. But groups have been a very popular discussion this week, so definitely check out groups for Costa Rica. If you have people that are looking for a vacation that's off the beaten path, this is definitely it. They want something that's unique and different, that's not just solely cultural based like you would find in Europe, this is it. If they want to get out and see animals and they want to do that soft adventure, this is definitely it. So this is a destination that's very, very easy to get to from the United States, and it's very popular. Everybody here has been incredibly friendly. My Spanish is horrible, and I've been getting by. People are very nice about it. So it is an easy place to travel around. And, you know, our local guide this week is Victor. He has been fantastic at answering questions, telling us about the history of the country, sharing cultural practices. It's been really excellent. So those are a few of the things that I've gotten questions about this week. I've also gotten questions about how much would you prepare your client for the eco experience? And my answer is 100%. So Tortuguero, to be completely blunt and honest with you, is rustic. The accommodations that we stay in are cabin-like accommodations. There is no air conditioning. It is really warm there. At night it cools down, of course, but it cools down to like in the mid 70s. So it's a very unique place to stay. There are no TVs, there are no telephones. There is power in your cabin. There are 2 pools that you can hang out at. There is a bar, very important. There's actually 2. All of the meals in Tortuguero are included because, again, you have to get everywhere by boat. There are no roads in Tortuguero. So I would definitely prepare my clients for the experience because I feel that consumers and guests are uncertain about experiences that they're not familiar with. If you tell them what to expect, they're going to absolutely love it, but they need to be prepared. The other thing I want to share about Tortuguero is because it is by boat, we put information in our brochure that you are required to bring a separate bag and separate it out from your suitcase. It's actually a recommendation. And the reason being, in Tortuguero, the property that we use does not have bell service. So as you know, on a Trafalgar, you never touch your bag. We take your bag from our coach to your room, from your room back to the coach. You're not hauling it anywhere. In Tortuguero, the guests have the option, if they feel like they want to, they can take their entire suitcase, but they would need to wheel it to their room. They're flat sidewalks, it's pretty easy. It's not, taking it over grass or anything like that. If they want to make it easier on themselves though, they can pack what they need for about 2 days, which I would bring a bathing suit, I would bring sunscreen, bug spray, a couple days worth of clothes. They're gonna sweat, so maybe a couple outfits for the evening, maybe one for dinner or something. And then that's really all you need for Tortuguero. You don't need makeup, you don't need your hair dryer, you don't need any of that. It's gonna be 2 days of being pura vida, just pure you in Tortuguero. So prepare your clients for that. And it's a really cool way to start off the trip, because then as the trip goes on, it gets a little bit different. You're gonna get more and more amenities back. You're gonna really appreciate being out there with the animals. So that was a great question that we had this week. Another great question that we've had is activity level. A lot of people were thinking as they're preparing for this trip that we're National Geographic Bear Grylls and that they're gonna need, hiking gear, and they're gonna need all of this really strenuous stuff. Costa Rica is not a strenuous active destination. It can be if you want to do some really hardcore activity, but the experiences that we have available within the vacations are soft adventure. So we have, like today, an optional experience going where guests can hike this volcano. And it's a very easy hike. It's about 1.5 miles each way. It starts out pretty flat, and then you start to hike up a little bit on the volcano. It is a rocky volcano. It's not smooth, pillowy lava like Hawaii. So there is a little bit of climbing, but it's not, you don't need like carabiners, or you're not rappelling. It's nothing crazy. You can literally wear tennis shoes and do this hike. So I think that kind of summarizes a lot of the adventure in Costa Rica. You definitely need bug spray because there are a lot of bugs here. But as far as the activity level, sunscreen's important because there are a lot of water activities. But I went whitewater rafting yesterday. They were class 2-3 rapids, and it wasn't bad at all. I mean, we floated most of the way. I think the guy was kind of giving us a pity paddle and telling us to paddle, and we weren't really helping. We were just really floating and relaxing. So the adventure level is not tremendous. However, with that being said, your clients do need to be fit. It is hot here. You will be outside in the sun. So if people have health conditions where it's difficult for them to be in the heat for a long time, this is probably not an ideal destination. Some of the activities, as I mentioned, are a little bit physically active. So if you've recently had knee replacements, hip replacements, heart issues, you couldn't do things like the zip lining. It might be difficult to do some of the hiking depending on your mobility issues. So just things to keep in mind. You don't need to be an Olympian, but again, it's not a destination for people with mobility issues or severe health issues. So that was a really great question that we had this week as well. So I know you guys are coming in and out. I know this feed is coming in and out. I don't know how clear it is on your end. Again, Wi-Fi very spotty, not so bad. Nice week to kind of just disconnect and enjoy the sounds of Costa Rica. But if you have questions, feel free to post those and I will be more than happy to answer them. We also have a poll question, seeing if anybody has gotten requests for Costa Rica, and it looks like yes, so that's awesome. This is actually my 3rd trip to Costa Rica. I absolutely love it here. And the two things that stick out most to me is the diversity of every place you go. Being able to start in Tortuguero, which is rustic, and enjoy the animals, going to the rainforest of Sarapiqui, then the volcanoes of Arenal, and then the cloud forest of Monteverde. You're essentially getting 4 vacations in one, and each of them is awesome. The other thing that I love is the sustainability efforts. You guys have heard me talk about a lot how I am so proud to be part of Trafalgar and the Travel Corporation and the sustainability efforts that we make as a company. And this is a destination that is so perfectly aligned with our mission, and I absolutely love that. The recycling, the thoughtfulness behind the reduction of plastics, how they're trying to live this pure life, this pura vida. It is awesome here when it comes to ecotourism and sustainability. So that is something that I absolutely love. So thanks, Jay. Thank you guys for attending. It doesn't look like we got too many questions, but if you're going to catch this later, definitely feel free to post questions. I'm happy to